Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Didn't you miss the stories about crazy neighbors who get what they deserve in the end? Because that's the story we start our video with. Oh, and it's also cool when the weather helps you get back at your annoying neighbor. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Garbage butt neighbor again. My jerkwad neighbor who loves parking in my driveway parked there again this winter. He apparently didn't learn. We had several snowstorms this winter and there were advisories to not park your car in the street for plowing purposes. Of course, Crap Nugget still doesn't want to pay $270 for a parking pass where he lives. My parents were visiting, so all our cars were in my driveway. We were having dinner, and here it is in the middle of the effing night. He doesn't call first, nor does he ring the doorbell. He bangs on the door, not knock. There's a difference. Interrupting dinner with my family. I ask what his problem is. I can't park on the street. Let me park in your driveway. Excuse me? No, may I? Let alone a please? I politely said, no, you can't. And especially since my driveway was full, and it's my effing driveway. I'm not going to move my parents' cars, nor mine, just for him to park. He left and went to demand parking in another neighbor's driveway. They too know he's a piece of crap and are long fed up with him as well, so they said no. He comes back later after hearing him swear up and down the block. He knocks again, and I tell him he can park if he gave me $60. I wager that's the price if he wants to take my time from having dinner with my family to move all the cars out of my driveway and have him at the end of the driveway so he wouldn't be blocking us in. He starts cursing and walks away. I didn't care. Finished dinner with my family. The next day came about, and it's when the advisory is in effect. My parents took my dad's car and they went to get groceries, only to come back and find that a-hole parked in the driveway again. Okay, now you want to play? I tried calling a truck, but they were in delay, what with getting people out of their cars, and the tow truck companies are fully booked during the winter, so I wasn't going to wait hours. I didn't ring his doorbell or anything because I knew his response. He pretends to not be home when it's time to alert him of his crap-diness. Having some warm cider in my living room, I see him leave with a friend and they go out. But he rides with his friend and leaves his car in my driveway. Light bulbs turn on. My driveway is mostly flat, thankfully, so my dad and I jacked the rear end of his car and pivoted it out of the way, and there was barely enough to wiggle my dad's car back into the driveway. But we got it out of the way enough that we could get cars in and out of the driveway with careful maneuvering. Now he's still gone, and so I took the jack back under his car and jacked up the car right on its catalytic converter. It's bent and has left a slight opening in the exhaust work. Also left a scratch at the bases of his door. Have fun with rust in some time. It's pretty freaking cold out, and I'd brought in my garden hose for the winter, but I hooked it up to my basement sink and set it on mist and thoroughly showered his car with water, giving it a decent coating of ice over the door handles, on the windshield, and windows. The snow gets heavy, and we haven't noticed him return yet. We figure he'd return because he'd have to be flummoxed about his car being covered in ice. We got an idea, though. The snow stopped a bit, and we began some shoveling and packed mounds of snow around his car, thus making it inaccessible. He returns and asks what happened to his car. I ask him why he parked where people shovel snow into piles. He knew damn well he parked there, but it was fun watching him take an entire day trying to melt the ice and free his car. He said he was going to call the cops, so I told him to. He didn't, since he probably knew he'd get fined, and I can charge him with trespassing. Dumbbutt also thought it was a good idea to try and melt ice with hot water. Cracked his windshield. Have fun with rust and an exhaust leak. Try it again. Play stupid A games, win effing stupid A prizes. This is next level a-hole status. What in the F was this guy thinking to park in your driveway without permission? Even asking for permission is insane to me. I may have missed this part, but why didn't he park in his own driveway? And our second story. Banned. It means you can't eat here. I'm the assistant manager of a generic Dairy Queen-style fast food place, and as I'm sure you all know, customers are the worst part of retail/restaurant work. They will yell at you, they'll not understand the most simple of signs/questions/answers, and they'll demand things of you that'll make you roll your eyes when they're not looking. And sometimes they'll try to scam you. This is one of those times. A woman we're going to call Big A had become a frequent scammer of my store. She was huge, barely able to wedge behind the wheel of her rusted red compact Toyota, and as glamorous as her car with badly dyed brownish hair and the doleful stare of a semi-comatose mental patient, her scamming tactic was to order our most expensive combo with extra bacon and the $2 upgrade to a 32-ounce milkshake, and then call back saying we'd forgotten her extra bacon and that the shakes were terrible. Corporate policy is to offer a remake, which she gladly accepts every time. After she's pulled this on 3 shifts on 3 different managers, we catch on that she's a scam artist. The store manager bans Big A, as we've caught her pretty hard already using the same complaints on the exact same meals several times. I also conveniently know the workers at a local Hardee's who told me they had a woman matching the same description pulling the same scam on them. Deliciously, we ban her. We're the only ice cream store in town, so obviously she's quaking in rage behind her wheel when the other assistant manager tells her that she's banned. Big A calls her a effing B and peels out, going as fast as her heavily lopsided Camry can. This, the main ban, was about a month ago. Last Sunday, Big A shows up. I meet her at the window as I run the drive-thru a lot. I smile. She doesn't seem to recognize me, though at this point, I've dealt with her at least 5 different times. I certainly recognize her. She's ordered already, and I go ahead and let her write out a check so that I can verify the name at the top. She's banned by name specifically. Plus, to be honest, I hate her at this point, as all the food she scams technically comes out of my bonus money. I really want her to remember getting caught and never come back. She hands me the check. I look at her. Me. You're Big A. Don't you remember that you're permanently banned? Big A. I'm not Big A. Me. So then this is a stolen checkbook and I should call the police? Big A gives me a blank, heavy-lidded stare and I continue. Me. Look, I know you're Big A. I've waited on you most of the times you've come here. I've talked to you on the phone, and I was here the day that you called her, pointing at the other assistant manager, something pretty nasty. You're Big A, and you can't eat here. She stares at me, seeming to think that it'll change my mind. I shut the window and walk away. She leaves, surprisingly. I actually expected her to pound on the window based on her reaction last time, and then promptly comes back. On Tuesday, I meet her at the window again. Me. Hi, Big A. You know that you still can't eat here. She stares at me, the left corner of her mouth twitching weirdly, silent. Me. You've been banned by the store manager. That means you can't eat here, ever. Not during the day, not during the night, not on Sundays, not on Tuesdays. Big A. I talked to the store manager and he said that... Me. Let me stop you right there. Our store manager is a woman, and she has said nothing to that effect to me. You cannot eat here, and I will not serve you until she tells me herself that you can. Big A stares at me and practically starts to cry, the left corner of her mouth twitching the whole time. Well, can't you do anything about it? Me. No. The only person that can change this is the store manager. You can come in and talk to her, but since you scammed us and it's corporate policy to ban scammers, I highly doubt that anything you say will change anyone's mind. Big A stares at me. I wonder if she's mentally competent. We stare at each other for a second, not saying anything, and I get weirded out and slowly slide the window shut and walk away. I'm sure that she'll be back again. I warned the store manager that she might be in to talk to her and try to get unbanned, but since I've never seen Big A out of her car, I don't know that she'll actually come inside and do it. I'm laughing at the mental imagery of you locking eyes with her beady ones for a couple of moments, and then you slowly sliding the window closed. And our last story. Entitled Vegan manages to get herself fired on her first day on the job. I own a restaurant. Recently, we've had a huge uptick in delivery orders, and so I've been hiring delivery drivers for the past month. Saturday was the first day for one of these new hires. We'll call her Jen, 22, blonde, in town for college. Seemingly nice girl. 6 p.m. rolls around, she shows up for her shift. She's there maybe 10 minutes when the first delivery order comes in. Steak and 2 vegetables plus salad and chicken wrap. Food's done, gets boxed up, put on the counter to be taken for delivery. Jen just stands there looking at it. So the other driver, we'll call him Ron, picks it up and heads out. While Ron is out, we get another order. 4 deluxe double bacon cheeseburgers, 2 family-size fries, 4 2XL milkshakes. Food hits the delivery counter, and again, Jen is just sort of standing there looking at it. At this point, the GM asks her what she's waiting for. "I can't deliver that. It's got meat in it. I'll pick up the next vegan meal that comes in." Mind you, a solid 80% of our menu is meat. We've got some salads, some sides, and we do serve Impossible burgers as well as Impossible meatloaf, but most of the time, those get ordered along with other items that do contain meat. So the GM calls me and I come up to the front. He explains all that I just relayed. I confirm with Jen that she refuses to touch any orders with meat in them, and then I send her home. She won't be on the schedule again. Ron and I handle the deliveries for the rest of the night. Sorry, lady, you can't expect to be paid to just stand by the bar for 5 hours a day. And just to be clear, this post isn't about bashing vegans. I'm talking about the actions of one person who happens to be vegan. The vast majority of vegans I've met are perfectly reasonable people. I even went vegan for like 8 months, but I was bad at it or something because I kept losing too much weight. You were absolutely right to let her go. She has every right to her own beliefs and dietary choices, but she's exactly the type of vegan who gives all vegans a bad name. You weren't asking her to sample the effing food. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.